Hi, my name is Marc Zaldivar, and I'm the director of the ePortfolio initiatives at Virginia Tech. And today I'm going to talk about what I consider to be one of my more effective teaching moments and strategies. Before I became the director of the ePortfolio initiatives, I was a teacher of composition in the English department at Virginia Tech, and I taught there for many years. And thinking back to my master's program, when I was sort of figuring out the basics of being in a classroom and what it took to organize students and what it really meant to sort of improve writing in individuals and in groups of people, I really had to start thinking about what writing was. And it really made sense to me that writing, at least in my sense of things, was less about the goal, the end product, and more about all those ideas that went into place as students were putting them together. So I knew for me, and some of the comp theory and some of the more interesting other theories I was looking at, was so interested in process-based education. So as a grad student, I said, what could I do to sort of shift my focus over to process-centered educations? And portfolios seemed like such a logical extension of what I was doing. They've been done for decades in composition studies and in other fields, and they really seem to get the student, in an educational sense, away from thinking about the final paper that they turn in for a grade as the goal. Instead, constant improvement is the goal. So I still remember the meeting I had with my graduate advisor where I said, I think next year I'm going to try a portfolio approach to my composition class. We had about 20 to 25 students in each section at that point. I had 2 sections, and my graduate advisor looked at me and said, "You're crazy. You should never do something like that." His thinking at the time was portfolios and revision-based approaches to composition put so much extra on the instructor. They take so much more time as you learn to read things. And then it really would be difficult to pull that off for a graduate student, etc. Luckily, he was an innovative guy and said, certainly if you want to try, I'll back you up and let's see how it goes. And I found from that point forward the best success with my students. Again, I had this open revision policy. They could revise any paper any number of times. My quote-unquote portfolio approach meant that we wrote 4 formal topics over the semester, each about, say, 3 to 5 pages in length as a scope. And then as a portfolio, what I shifted to was 3 of those papers needed to be turned in for final evaluation at the end of the semester, along with a portfolio that showed me which paper they didn't include and why, all the drafts of the 3 papers that they did include and why they picked those 3 papers. So it was a combination really of a representation of their growth as a writer. We both, I took, with my advisor and with that first group of students, I developed what was a meaningful rubric for me and continued to evolve over a couple of terms, and something that really began to be a conversation about how do you approach writing. And this even, went from things like topic generation, brainstorming, organization, some big, large skills, down to even things like grammar mechanics. Asking a student, what are your targets to improve your control over the English language, became a really significant thing, and it wasn't just an excuse, I don't know commas, and we let it end there. It became learn commas and figure it out. And so that shift over to a portfolio-based education and composition definitely changed the way I taught, definitely changed my relationship to the students. I frequently shared processes of writing that I was involved in as a young English graduate student on up into when I was writing papers in the field. I felt it was really important as a writer that they understand that writing is a process. So that's my video reflection for today. I hope that we all have a wonderful day, and good luck. Thanks.